Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to The Evil Within 2. So, in the last recording, instead of having a proper boss fight with Father Theodore, we instead just were shown visions of the monsters from the first game, and we had a little bit of a boss rush, which was not really a challenge at all considering how we had already beaten all those bosses in the first game. Like, it's kind of nice for the throwback, but that really feels like that should have been something that would have been in the shooting gallery or some side mission. There's only like 4 side missions in the entire game, it looks like. Or maybe in some kind of like side element, side mini game. There is in later iterations of Resident Evil 4. Like, that there are entire like little mini game timed mission games, things that you can do that aren't doing the main story, and that would have been where something like that would have happened, and it made a lot more sense. Instead, what we're left with now is we need to go, after climbing up a bunch of stairs to the tower, Union, as the city is falling apart, as a stem structure is falling apart. We see that there's some Mobius containers down this way, and we're just chasing after the wife, Ruvik, in her like crazy Ruvik form. She seems to be super powerful and want to protect Lily from everybody, including me. So, like, she seems to have a bit of a split personality, and by the looks of it, it seems like she's not going to just let me take Lily and leave. Not that Sebastian, as a character, even knows how to take Lily and leave. So, let's just be honest here. We think we may know No Way Out, but we're not certain about that. The game also had a weird turn of events as far as just how much gunpowder got used. Like, there's definitely something that needs to be mentioned with that. Is that there is a rather large drain of gunpowder and bullets for kind of just a short run of enemies. We have completely abandoned the element of open world parts of the game. We are all now about linear experiences. And more, it just feels like we're collecting either small amounts of bullets for really no reason, or we're setting up for one final boss battle. See, it definitely feels like they wanted to have a third act of a destroyed Union, but they're not really going to have that. They rushed heavily through a second act of Union being engulfed in flames. And I guess this white goo is supposed to be maybe a representation of maybe Ash. So unless these goo creatures are not killable,
maybe then I can get to her.
we just gotta straight up. Why can I not shoot these guys? They move very fast. And they did not die with a headshot. Interesting. And And we can see a bullet cascade combo being put up in the top left screen, and I don't know if that has always been the case, but yeah, we can definitely see these guys are stronger by far than anything we fought before. We're gonna get a map? Nope. Well, on the 15th chapter, just really going to show that this is a really stretched out experience. And having herbs is pointless. There's plenty of those in the game. And even that, like, even with a sniper rifle gun,
I hope she hasn't gone far.
that was a major amount of shots. So yeah, it does definitely feel like they're trying to waste all your bullets and then replenish all your bullets and then waste all your bullets some more. Just trying to make it feel like there's more of a game here. And take note that we can't turn on the fire hydrant. We basically saw only 1 or 2 places at most when you could do that. The only way I feel like we're even going to have an hour's worth of gameplay in this is if this game really just stretches itself. I also have these guys, which I don't even know if we're going to jump down that direction. And it keeps switching me to the wrong gun that I don't want to use. I would really like to be able to make the revolver the default handgun. I imagine we'll just have world twisting event. You can clearly make it through here, and yet there's an invisible wall.
Myra, stop!
This gimmick of the world shifting and the world twisting has just been super overplayed. There was kind of a problem with this idea even in the Evil Within 1. Like,
I don't have time for this.
Like, you could have only done so many cliche horror elements in a horror game to begin with, and they kind of touched them all on all of them in the first game. And so all they could have really done, I think, is established that that was just going to be the same environments you would have dealt with in future sequels. You just always have far too many, too few bullets. This does kind of look like parts of Union that we've been to before, but it probably is just a lot copying and pasting. Sunken in buildings into the ground. I don't really know if there's a value in us having to fight the wife other than they still just want Lily to be the damsel in distress. when honestly you could probably have merged those two characters too and had it be closer to a scenario where Lily is just the one refusing to believe that you're alive, or that
There she is.
because he's totally not willing to shoot her.
Oh God.
So that's not gonna work. It's rolling around.
Please let that be the last of it.
So, very abrupt boss fight there that I just took out with the assault rifle. These are all the boxes that you can break. I've kind of forgotten about all of that. There probably is a key or something around here. A statue would be my guess, because they obviously still want to give us some form of resources, whether it's gunpowder to make more bullets, or whether it's possibly more green goo to upgrade. Let's see. I believe that was my misshot explosive harpoon, which the explosive harpoon unfortunately has not proven to be as useful as I thought it would be. The enemies simply just move too fast for it to be a worthwhile chain of event weapon. We still don't really know what the creepy Japanese long-haired girl was all about, other than she led me to a copy of me, my own mind, trapped in here from Beacon, from the first incident. Explosive bolts. I really am not enjoying the fact that I'm trapped into this casual gameplay mode. I think if I was given half as much of a challenge, that would have been helpful. I don't know if I'm supposed to be getting up here or not. I don't think I am. Yeah, this just all feels too easy. And it all is jumping to just like a pre-rendered cutscene in between each battle.
I won't let you hurt Lily.
Hurt her? I'd never do that. I love her.
Your love can't protect her. Only I can do that. I told you to leave.
See, the only thing you really could take from this idea is that the mother did go crazy. Even though she was right about Mobius kidnapping the daughter and using her as a core, and she's kind of right about her effort here to try and destroy Mobius from the inside. She's also seems to have just gone crazy as a grief-driven, overprotective mother might. And the union system, the STEM system, seems to have latched on to that idea and that mentality. It is fairly ridiculous that Sebastian didn't realize that that was what was going on. This conversation should have happened the first time he talked to the mother in her monster Ruvik form. We're just doing absolutely nothing here. This is just a really long cutscene to just have him black out and show up somewhere else because they don't want to ever do scene transitions in this game, and it really just smacks of laziness now instead of trying to be psychological horror. Like, it reminds me a lot of the Phantasm series of movies, which was basically, from my understanding, based on a lucid dream. Let's see, and apparently I'm not really in control. He's just walking by himself. Well, it does want me to press forward, but it doesn't let me go anywhere else. This really does feel like a game that's just a... It's based on like a lucid dream where the rules of reality don't make sense.
She must be there. I can't stop now.
A whole another chapter and a snowy, icy world, which this is a waste of animation for sure. Like, there's no reason whatsoever to have had someone program. And plenty of people... Resonance points has been logged.
We're there. Visible.
Are you sure about this, Theodore?
I think plenty of people would have never even figured out how to do all this.
It's running so smoothly that they're not monitoring it as closely. It's now or never.
There's Father Theodore.
Before they know we're there. Once she's out, we'll be as good as invisible.
Are you sure about this, Theodore? Someone as high-ranking as you. If you get caught,
I've made my decision, Kidman. I can no longer stand idly by while they use that poor girl for their selfish needs.
In a funny way, that
Bitch knew what he was doing before he even came in here.
that may have just been you recording evidence against Kidman, so you may have just screwed Kidman over in the real world. By hearing that message. We'll just go this way. Yeah. Anything tall is a resonance point.
lives in Union and waiting for instruction.
Let's go, Myra. It's time.
I know. But if I don't, they'll just hunt Lily down and put her back inside.
You don't have to you don't have to tune in this time.
Go, Myra. It's time.
Are you sure about this, Myra? Once you become the core, you'll be...
I know. But if I don't, they'll just hunt Lily down and put her back inside. I can't let that happen. Just promise me you'll get Lily to Sebastian when this is all over.
So Myra was supposed to be the core.
I guess this is goodbye.
Was Myra
Myra was planning on becoming the core?
the Taurus?
Why?
Like, there's a big problem here in the fact that they kind of constantly name drop people by both their first name and their last names inconsistently. And we are just getting a whole story revelation section. And this looks like the theater.
Did you really think I was going to let you destroy Mobius? Now, give her to me.
There she is. Quickly, Theodore, What are you doing?
Did you really think I was going to let you destroy
This place started to fall apart.
So I guess the general idea is that okay, and we can see we are just straight up in our office.
Let's hear you talk your way out of hell, Wallace.
And the cat is here, but the slide projector isn't working. See, what's funny here is this probably means that this is a way in which your safe room is going to become a way in which the nurse escapes into the stem system and takes it over. Which, okay, and the mirror's not working. We also don't have the shooting gallery in this version. And let's see, I think we can fairly just upgrade, probably not a lot. Probably should just upgrade this. Ammo capacity, can't upgrade that. Fire rate, can't upgrade that. Explosive bolt, can't upgrade that. Fire rate on that, no. Ammo capacity on that. Is there really nothing here that I can upgrade at all? Seems like not. Alright, one thing, I can increase the reload speed of assault rifles. And crafting wise, I can make 73 flame fuel, or I could try to make more assault rifle bullets. And I guess we'll make assault rifle bullets. This would be a good time to talk to the nurse.
Castellanos. Good to see you again.
And see, all we have over there is a smoke bomb.
You're getting powerful, but this place is dangerous and getting worse.
Yeah, it'd be really ridiculous
Now and again.
to
I can help you with that.
increase your stealth. So we'll do Defiance 2. Well, don't have enough to do Toughness. Recover more health when using a healing item. We can't do that either, so just increase the stamina since we can. See, we have one red gel that would be needed there, and two red gels that would be needed there, and 2 red gels. So we missed. It seems like we missed 2 red gels, anyways.
I'm afraid that this will be the last time I can help you. I feel the end approaching.
You've been here for me the whole time. Both times.
Maybe I've been with you longer than that.
What do you mean? Who are you?
I'm who I've always been. I'm who I'll always be. I'm who you turn to when you need inner strength.
Her name is Tatiana, according to the subtitles.
And when this is all over?
When this is all over, you won't need me again.
Because this will be over? Or because I'll be dead?
The same answer applies either way. Now, let's get you ready.
She doesn't feel like a really interesting character as she's been depicted. So yeah, they throw a couple boss battles at you, and they throw you a bone with some more green gel. And we're still limited in save spots, so let's overwrite something. Can't do anything to pet the cat or anything like that. This is a nice turn of events to be able to find your office in the actual game world, but I don't know how important it really is. And there really can only be a couple more files, or we just missed a file somewhere, which is also a possibility. And I assume that these houses over there are not the places of importance.
What do you think you're doing, Myra? I'm protecting.
Run, Lily. Hide. I'll find you. I promise.
What do you think you're doing, Myra?
I'm protecting my daughter.
You fool! The power she commands, you don't understand.
No. You don't understand what I'll do to keep her safe.
Damn you, Myra! You can't run from me. I'll find you.
You did it, Myra. You kept her safe, but now you're putting her in danger.
So that's all the residual memories, which it might be slightly interesting just to kind of look here and see how much we actually, as we're at the end of here, missed. 5 files, 2 photo slides. It looks like we might get one more. We got all the residual memories. We got about half the locker room keys, 23 out of 40 skills, tons of weapon upgrades missed that you just couldn't have gotten that in the first playthrough. Probably could have gotten all 20 of the pouches. And as we're here, we'll just we don't have any fire in the flamethrower. And honestly, one way or the other, it doesn't even matter to me. We could have a big boss fight here. It could be a little bit frustrating. It could be quite a challenge. It would certainly explain the ability to upgrade and build bullets and all of that. And that's kind of what you would expect at the end of an action zombie game, which is really what this is boiled down to. Or they could just bum rush us and give us a cutscene and just be done with the story. And I really couldn't care too much one way or the other, because they've just been bum rushing us for the last 2/3 of the game pretty much. They should have probably gotten rid of all of the open world stuff and set expectations that it was going to be a very linear game to start with, because it is fairly deceptive that the first third of the game, first few hours, are open world.
You don't understand. This is our new home. Lily will be safe here. Happy. Free from fear. Free from pain.
As far as I can tell, Mobius would just shut down the entire stim system after a while.
No, Myra. This isn't real.
He's just arbitrarily covered in blood after chainsawing the head off of a guy.
And so is love. If she stays in here, she won't live a life free from fear. Because she won't be living a life at all.
You don't understand the things they did to her. I can protect her.
No. Please, let me take her out of here. Let's do it together. We can be a family again.
No! I won't let anyone take her from me!
No. Please, Myra. We still have time. We can leave. I am not gonna leave Lily here.
Yeah, it feels like the whole place is falling apart and it would just get shut down.
Please.
Anyone who tries must die!
Don't make me do this!
And we have to really question whether Lily is in the background watching, and then that this is going to potentially make Lily the new monster to fight. The concept of potentially killing somebody and them not dying in the stem system but turning into some kind of monster is an interesting idea. For sure. They probably should have instituted that as a concept to begin with.
My God.
Alright. Alright. Well.
You hurt me. You'll hurt her too. I won't let you.
God damn it, Myra!
Stop this. Think about what you're doing.
Alright. That's not even the thing to aim for, obviously. So we need to aim for her belly. Not for her head.
I don't want to do this to you, Myra.
So we're breaking her heart, or more accurately, while shooting the glowing orb mass. Let's go ahead and use a stim pack while we're at it. Alright, that's that. Alright. Stomp all these. And we can see they're giving us a ridiculous amount of gunpowder. Alright.
Stop me! Please, Myra! I know you're still in there! You gotta stop!
Let's see. Do I have a stamina thing where I can aim? Or is this just going to be too difficult to pull off? It gets too bright. And so, yeah, this is not working. And I don't really see the point of... Yeah, that's not working either. You know, it really feels like it probably would have been nicer if we had a stamina refilling ability. Darn it. So I have like a quick time event. Am I supposed to be slicing a knife or? So the hand is moving quite a lot. This is kind of a great boss fight, but there's a problem for sure of it being the last boss fight. So maybe if I didn't have the stomp attack, these guys wouldn't be as useful. But I do have the stomp attack, so I don't know. Not really sure if I'm supposed to be running away from those or what. Seems like we're still kind of fine. So either I'm not hitting that at all, or it's just not doing any real damage. Let's see. Just trying my very best to hurt this guy, this girl, but only a few more shots, and then as soon as I start to run low on shots, there's inevitably some more bullets being dropped somewhere. There's a stim pack over here. Again, if this was maybe not on casual, this would be a bit of a challenge. Let's go ahead and use this. I forgot about these. How close does one need to get? Maybe about that close. So not super close. And let's just smack her right in the face. So it seems like you actually have to shoot them in the face. Yeah, I really would have liked all the monsters to be to this level of quality, to this level of grossness, to this level of interest and unique design. Like, this is 2, 3, 4 steps above the level of quality we've seen with any of the other monsters in the game. Father Theodore, in particular, as a contrast to that, just did absolutely nothing. They could have at the very least had him turn into a monster when he was stabbed, and then have him immediately die as a tease. And I definitely feel like, compared to the Resident Evil series, almost all the monsters are of this level of weirdness and grotesqueness, which really helps elevate Resident Evil from being just a zombie game. But every sub-boss, every little zombie-like creature that we fought up until this point really has just been basically zombies. Like, slightly different from zombies, sure. It isn't just straight slow-walking zombies and fast-walking zombies. But they were basically just zombies. Is he gonna magically be washed clean from all the blood all over him? No. Well, I would say Myra was right that you probably are gonna hurt Lily. I almost forgot her name. If she finds out that you just murdered her mother.
Myra.
Of course, the real question is there a way in the stim system to destroy the demons in other people's minds? Apparently there is. At least somewhat. That would be the only thing that would make the stim system even start to make some sense. As if trained professionals could go into crazy people's minds and cure them of mental illness. But
Myra,
clearly that's not what Mobius wants it for.
please. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to.
No. I couldn't control myself. You
Just
did the
more
right thing.
pre-rendered cutscenes.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're alive.
I could definitely see this being just a CGI direct to DVD, direct to Netflix movie
Get
instead.
her out of here.
Like, it really
I'm getting us all
feels
out of here.
extremely deceptive. Now that I think about
Far. Leave me.
when I think about how mainstream video game journalists
Leave me.
reviewed this game, and remembering the reviews, how they said this was a open world game now, that really does imply to me that a lot of them did not play the game all the way to the end, because this is totally not an open world game. Not really. There's
I'll follow.
2 chapters.
I'll meet you there.
It is also
Needs you now.
It's also worth mentioning Sebastian still doesn't really know how to escape. He only thinks he might know a way. And they've really failed to tell a good story to make me care about Sebastian and Lily, because they crammed in just far too many characters. Far too many characters. Like, you probably should have had Myra showing up as a hallucination from the beginning of the story, giving you hints of advice or words of wisdom, instead of Tatiana the nurse in the game. Chapter 17. Wow. It's not even letting me bring up the weapon wheel, so we are at game over. But yeah, the Asian psychiatrist lady, Liam, Stefano, Father Tobias, or Father Thomas, all of those characters, and a lot more. Kidman, just way too many characters that you should have. They should have merged down to a tight group of like 5 people. That's all that really needed to exist. Now we get a pre-rendered cutscene of Kidman, where this is going to be the point where she does something from the outside that would actually help her.
We can't get an exact location.
Help him escape. Assuming.
Wait, the core's been located. The marker is approaching her.
Excellent. Instruct the marker on how to re-establish the core.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, sir, but it's too late for that. The environment has taken too much damage. Even with the core back in place, total collapse of Union is imminent.
So be it. We still have STEM. We can start again.
This bad guy.
We need the core. She's too valuable to abandon. Have the med team prepare for core extraction. How much time?
Depends on how fast he can get her to the extraction point. They're close. Shouldn't be long. Med team in place and standing by.
Once extracted, have the med team terminate the marker. He served his purpose.
Yes, sir.
Shit.
Kid, call your man and give him instructions.
Well, I guess this is it, kid.
Kid, did you hear me?
See, like, kind of no reason for this.
I did.
Is that insubordination I'm sensing?
You can't kill him.
Yes, we can, and we will. Once he's back in the real world, he'll become a liability. Now, call him and tell him where the extraction point is.
What would be funny is if all these people are in STEM right now.
Come now, kid. He signed his death sentence the moment he entered STEM.
And she snuck a gun in.
Now, do as I've ordered, or you'll be signing yours as well.
No.
A shame that you'd attempt to betray us. I had such hope for you.
Of course, no gameplay here. No gameplay at all. Just a pre-rendered cutscene. Just a movie. That's all we're watching. And maybe this was going to be the beginning of some DLC if this actually sold. Alright. How many bullets do we have? Like, she has like 5 bullets. And she doesn't have any abilities to slow down time. And she's taken plenty of hits. It's like, wow. I'm really bad at this. Oh, she has more than 5 bullets. She just had 6 bullets in the chamber. So I'm wondering if there was supposed to be something here that would have opened,
Lily,
like,
she's got to be in her room upstairs.
Lock things up. Let's see. We can turn on the flashlight and we can look around. We can see if there's something here. Really doesn't feel like there's a great reason for us to be able to play this section, other than the fact that They just didn't want us to have too many cutscenes back to back. It feels like we're gonna get the good ending. Pretty much. Maybe Lily will turn into a bit of a monster and take control of all the Mobius agents and save Kidman. And actually defeat all of Mobius. Which then ends the whole series, and that would have been silly. So apparently she's asleep, so she didn't see you kill her mother.
Lily.
She still probably thinks you're dead.
Dad?
It's me, Lily. I'm here.
And she's got a stuffed doll
Really you?
of him,
It's really me.
which we've been finding dolls of all the other family members.
You mean we're not home?
No, baby. But we will be soon.
So tired.
Go back to sleep. When you wake up, we'll be safe again.
So, what ending? Do you just get like a bad ending if you hadn't done that one side mission where you knew how to extract yourself through the back door? Or does it just not matter?
Myra. I've got her. Come on. Let's get the hell out of here.
I'm sorry, Sebastian. I can't.
Yes, you can. I'll carry both of you if I have to. But I'm not...
Mobius has to be stopped.
Screw Mobius. We've lost too much time to them already. We can get away, just the three of us. We'll go someplace where they'll never find us.
There's nowhere to hide. They're everywhere. Lily will always be in danger. Unless I destroy them.
Okay, fine. I'll
It's
wait.
hard
Once Mobius
to
is
really
gone,
care about her doing...
It can only be done from inside.
It's hard to care about her
Stanley's more than
sacrificing
just this
herself.
place. All of Mobius are connected to it via the chips in their heads.
So she may kill Kidman
Once
also
I
in this
assume the power
point.
of the core, I can transmit a signal just as Union collapses. A signal that can take Mobius down once and for all.
we're finally together again.
In all fairness, compared to Assassin's Creed and the Templars,
Part of the plan, it always has
since
been.
there's like a dozen games in that series,
Sorry.
it probably would have been nice around the 10th game for somebody to actually take down all of the Templars and some new
Promise
bad
to take
guy
care of the little one.
group to rise up in their place.
Never let her forget how much her mother loved her.
On the other hand, I think The Evil Within as a series probably would have done better just to have been an anthology series. In the second game, have completely different characters and in completely different world. That way you can just have similar styles of gameplay.
What I did to you. You didn't ask for any of this. You've been into hell twice for it.
A ton of these cutscenes needed to have been earlier in the game also.
To live the life that was taken from you.
Even if they were just flash forward sections.
I love you, Myra.
We really are hitting about 25 minutes of cutscenes, it feels like.
Both of you. That's why I'm doing this. But there's no more time. You have to go now.
And yeah, they're trying to emotionally manipulate you with the music. The setup is just not here. It just wasn't established well. It's just not good foundational writing.
Come get me, assholes.
So are they gonna throw more gameplay at us?
Shit.
Darn it.
We've got to
this easy.
Her health, by the way, fully regenerated. And this is literally just shooting fish in a barrel. They all bend exactly in the same place.
Get to the stem room. Just need to make it downstairs. Hang on, Sebastian.
Which way are we going? Over this way? So we're gonna not have a laser wall, I guess. And we're running automatically. Interesting. There's maps here. Maps of Union.
I hope this works, Myra.
It'd be funny if the twist was that this was all just a dream. And it was all in Kidman's head, and Sebastian and all of that didn't really matter. Because they were just hallucinations of Kidman.
What are you doing, kid? Your actions will only
We also never
death.
got
You must know this.
any hint as to why she plugged in a USB drive into the back of this terminal earlier.
You had such potential. You could have amassed such power. And now you choose to throw it all away.
They
Why?
really love to show off the stubble and the
After all
face
you've seen, all you've done, why the
technology when
crisis
it's
of
not even that
conscience
good.
now? Is it for the detective? For the child?
You definitely can feel how
It's for me.
how
Think about what you're doing, kid.
Bethesda and
Stem is
ZeniMax here
needed.
were
Imagine it.
definitely trying to use
Unified consciousness
this
for all
game
mankind.
to sell an engine that they were hoping they could have other people use internally in the Bethesda ZeniMax companies, or even externally as a licensed engine by third-party companies. Of course, it doesn't actually look that good.
No going back now. I hope you were right, Myra.
Sebastian,
Kidman, I've got her. Where do I go?
get to your room.
All right. But Myra's staying behind. You know why?
Okay. We don't have much time.
I'm counting on you, Kidman.
So he's gonna extract using the room instead of using the back door. And I'm just going to run forward. And we can see a glowing beacon of light. Which reminds me that
Oh my god.
in the first game, there was the Beacon Hospital. It was just kind of constantly in the distance, acting sort of as a lighthouse. But the light itself in the first game would drive monsters to spawn or become crazier.
Please.
I'm fairly certain this is a no-fail ending, where nothing you do would cause you to actually die. And it would have been slightly annoying if people hadn't found that your secret room was here.
It's not too late to stop
This does just seem cliche, though. Jumping back and
I
forth.
promise to kill you quickly. Otherwise, the punishment for your betrayal will be legendary.
I'm going to be legendary, all right. Legendary for taking you down. A world without choice isn't a utopia. A hive mind only works with a queen that controls it. Join us or die? Well, guess what? There's a third choice. And that's fuck you!
You are foolish, but oddly admirable. It's a shame to have to lose you like this, kid.
The idea that
You thought that I was just flying by
that he
my
would
pants?
personally have a chip in his head.
I took my chip out 3 days ago.
No matter. You'll die today.
Kind of a pathetic chip to not recognize that it had been removed. So yeah, they had to show that she took the chip out because they're going to basically explode the heads of everybody that still has a chip in their head. But I still don't feel like the main bad guy or any of the major people in charge of Mobius would have chips in their heads. She's not going to be able to pull him up. And it doesn't seem like Lily's going to show any like magical abilities or anything. It would be a slightly different story if she did have some kind of magical abilities. That she had like butterflies or fireflies fly around her, and everywhere she walked grass grew. Something like a natural creative entity to be an opposite type character to all the monsters that got created by the crazy people who wanted to be cores. But it wouldn't really change the story.
You did it, Myra. I knew you would.
So, hit the signal, hit enter. But she's not even really testing to make sure that Sebastian and Lily escape, and we still don't know where Lily's body is. So I don't know if they're all in a memory stick somewhere or what. You have a weird contrast here. You spent the first couple hours of gameplay, like, you spent a couple hours of gameplay trying to save Mobius agents. Now this would be funny if he turned into a monster instead of just died. Because then that brings the evil within outward. And
Take it easy, Sebastian.
gets rid of Mobius, which is a kind of pointless conspiracy group. And would
I need your help getting her
remove
out. Stand over there.
Remove the threat of, or the ability to just leave the stem system and not be in danger.
Hurry!
So is it a person or is it a brain in a jar? This is getting ridiculously anime. Apparently she didn't age much either. The timeline is still confused here. Was it 2 or 3 years after she allegedly died right now, or has it been 5-10 years?
Dad, is it really you?
Yes, Lily. It's really me.
I was having the worst nightmare.
Shh. I know, Lily. But you're awake now. The nightmare's over. There's nothing to be scared of anymore.
The problem with a story like this is you don't want people to feel like they can could have written a better story.
Just thinking I'm...
And
really
that's
is
totally what I feel like right now, is that it's probably not true. I probably couldn't have written a better story for this game, but
Let's get the hell out of here.
I almost certainly would have had more twists and rethought the pacing, and having seen how this game plays out one time, I would definitely want to redo a lot of stuff. And this isn't just excusable because this is a Japanese game that's been kind of poorly localized to English. The pacing and the storytelling just feels off. It just feels cliche and simplistic. And in all fairness, Resident Evil 4's story is pretty cliche and simplistic too. But that's not really the reason why people liked Resident Evil 4. People liked Resident Evil 4 because of Shinji Mikami, I believe is the guy that worked on Resident Evil 4. Like, you can see there are not a lot of people that even worked on this game. It definitely should have had a bigger budget and a bigger team. I would say a bigger team at the very least. The thing particularly about Resident Evil 4 is you could mute that game practically and not hear any of the story and skip all the cutscenes, and every single sequence would feel either amazing or at least above average to average. And every single encounter is really well thought out, and there's a lot of enemies, and enemies in specific places, and engines designed to spawn enemies in specific places. This is a weird song that's playing. It's a weird cover of a pop music song. In this game, there's no sequence that's good, really. You just walk into an intersection on the street most of the time, and there's 4 or 5 enemies that are just kind of wandering around in general, and they don't really have any AI to them that makes them stealthy or target you or try to run behind you. There's a lot better AI in dozens upon dozens of other Resident Evil enemies. None of them have particularly amazing, unique attacks. Like, nobody grabs you by the legs and trips you up. Nobody swoops down from above and tries to actually attack you. Instead, you have some sequences where they swoop down and then they're right in front of you and then they try and attack you, which is a big difference. There's no side missions. Clearly it was just the minimum requirement of side missions, and they must have negotiated for a lot of chapters to have to stretch to have so many chapters. It's kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if there are 16 chapters in this game, because simply there were 8 chapters in the previous game and they negotiated to have twice as many chapters. But there really is in no way twice as much gameplay in this game. I've kind of bent over backwards to try and have some entertainment through this game, and I've only maybe missed 2 or 3 side missions at most, because I didn't realize that I was never going to return to that first world area. Which also, it makes no sense that first world area regenerated with stronger zombies after I cleared it completely of zombies, or at least it felt like I cleared it completely of zombies, because it didn't then regenerate a 3rd time to a fire area, and it didn't regenerate a 4th time into a gray goo area of monsters. But yeah, unimpressive, really. I feel like even the MacGuffin is worse. It's more personal in the second game to be trying to save your daughter compared to saving just a crazy person who runs away from you half the time in the first game. But the crazy person, frankly, was added to the craziness of the game and the craziness of the world in the first Evil Within. So, yeah, in Ruvek, it was a much better bad guy, by far. He should have probably come back as hallucinations at the very least. And they didn't even bring him back as a hallucination in the Father Theodore fight, which is ridiculous. Ruvek, at the end of the first game, did escape and seemingly did have psychic powers to change the nature of the world outside of STEM, so there really was no reason to have a second game in the STEM system at all. Like, it does seem like the only reason you're in the STEM system this time is so that they can have extremely limited open world sections. I can't help but just assume that this game got its budget slashed. Probably quite a bit. Probably fairly early after the sales of the first game. If the sequel was being parallel developed and it was a year, maybe even 2 years into development after the first game came out, I could see that ZeniMax and Bethesda would have slashed the budget. ZeniMax and Bethesda, not a great publisher at all. Like, they sometimes have some successes. Sometimes they'll leave some of their subsidiary companies alone, but not with a great amount. The Wolfenstein Reboot series has had a couple of failures, notable failures, on top of trying to be a AAA series. The Doom Reboot series, the first game is good, the second game is alright, but not as good as the first game, and then notably they tried to put in a low-level anti-cheat DRM type software that irritated everybody after the fact. Fallout 76 is total garbage. Fallout 4, not really as good as Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, depending on whether you're on one side of that coin or the other, depending on which kind of Fallout fan you are. So the same person, I believe, that gifted me this game also gifted me Fallout 4, and eventually I will get around to that. I think there's some DLC I don't have for it, and I'd like to have all the DLC before I start playing Fallout 4. And frankly, it's going to be a hard challenge to decide how much time to invest into playing any of the Fallout games. But yeah, had this game been created by, say, Capcom, the makers of the Resident Evil series, it would have been probably better a little bit, but in all fairness, until the last 5 years, Capcom themselves has been pretty bad about having a good Resident Evil and a bad Resident Evil. So there's no guarantee there. Or if this was a game that was released and made by an indie company that was trying to do a AAA-like game, but not under the situation where, like ZeniMax's, where they can kind of make a lot of money from other places, that probably would have been more polish put into this. But I think it mostly falls apart with the writing. So Kidman is now the surrogate mother, stepmother as it were, and they're giving the Myra doll to her. So I guess Kidman's not going to stay with them. So then I guess the question is, Kidman now going to take over Mobius? Or is she going to hunt down the remains of Mobius? Because they couldn't have all died. Even if it was a rather crippling blow. This is another point where it would have just been easier to have all the characters have their original Japanese models. Like, I just personally don't see a big difference there to make all these characters Westerners. The story plays out exactly the same anyways. Very cliche. Drive off into the sunset. We can see nobody's been here for a while. And this is where either Ruvek would show up or Myra would show up. Nope, they're just gonna tease it. Barely 2 minutes over 20 hours. New Game Plus, use it to start a new game carrying over certain things from your previous playthrough. Classic mode difficulty has been unlocked. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. You can now select it from the new game menu. And 20,000 green gems have been acquired. You can use it starting at Chapter 3 when playing a New Game Plus. I've also unlocked a professional outfit if those days have gone on forever. You can change it using the coat rack in Sebastian's room. That's really ridiculous. We've also unlocked a classic outfit. You've acquired the Magnum. So now you have a super powerful hand cannon gun. More cinematic game experience. So now you can have a letterbox. That was something that was by default on in the first game, and then they eventually patched it out because people hated it. None of that is worth anything at all. And it's still ridiculous that they have only 10 save slots. But you notice what it didn't unlock. No chapter select at all. So, yeah, I don't think that there's anything to mention here. Super strength mode probably wouldn't have changed the game much. Invincibility mode wouldn't have changed much on this difficulty. The only real question, I guess, would be, could you do New Game Plus mode? Let's see. Begin a game while carrying upgrades, equipment, collectibles, from a clear save. Green gel and weapon parts are also more plentiful in New Game Plus, making the game even easier. You may select any difficulty equal to or lower than the original difficulty completed to create the save clear used. You will receive your carried over upgrades and items. After a certain point in Chapter 2, you select this clear save if you want to use for a New Game Plus on the next screen. So, yeah, there's literally no reason why you would want to do that. So you really are just totally screwed here. The thing to have done here would have been to start a new game and have played it at least on Akuma mode, or at least on Nightmare mode. Like, casual is way too easy. They do say this is recommended for players who enjoyed the difficulty of the previous game. Of course, it would have been several years since anyone would have played the previous game to know that. So, Which, by the way, also the nanny never came into the story at all. It says kills child, comma, nanny. That's what it says on that newspaper. Classic mode with no autosaves and the number of saves is limited. Neither weapons nor skills can be upgraded. Let's see. And then Akuma mode is even more difficult, just in case nightmare mode is not high enough, which very well may not have been for most players. But then also with the Bethesda account, infinite stamina mode, super strength mode, and invincibility mode on Akuma mode may not really change much. It may very well be the exact same experience. There is a good argument to just turning this off, because that's kind of pointless. A lot of these icons weren't used enough for them to matter anyways, so you probably could have adjusted some of this. And here's letterbox mode. No, there's just nothing more to say here. It is just so standard, so by the book. There's just no reason why I'd ever want to play this again. I'm screwed even if I did want to play it again. What I would have to do is go get a save file of someone else having beaten the game on like Akuma mode, or at least Nightmare mode, and then use that save file to do a new game plus. To maybe then try to have a bit more of a challenging experience, but it really wouldn't be that challenging of an experience, because having beaten the game once, you would have unlocked enough gel to unlock half the abilities and everything anyways. We haven't even really mentioned the stealth sections in this game because they're so pointless. Like, every single little element, when you slice this up, is just a kind of pointless element of gameplay that does not synergize into anything you want to experience a second time through. So that's going to be it for the series. I do want to take a moment to say, once again, this was gifted to me by a fan, and I want to be 100% clear that I appreciate it. I like playing games and I like criticizing games. Even if I didn't particularly think this was the best game ever, that is in no way a reflection on a lack of appreciation for games being gifted to me. I am a critic. After all, I tend to be looking for the negatives. If I was just looking for fun and I was more of a non-critic, positive person, I probably would be able to have a good, entertaining, have some dumb fun with this type of game. There wasn't anything horribly wrong with this game. It was just lacking overall, and certainly had they waited for 5, maybe even 10 years to put out The Evil Within 2, compared to trying to make it a franchise, which obviously the budget seems like it was cut at some point, so they knew they weren't going to make it a franchise. That would have probably been an interesting move too. That is one of the beauties we are seeing now with games getting remastered and remade, is that the idea of waiting a little bit longer and waiting until there's a generational improvement can make a game work a lot better. Certainly this game would have worked a lot better had the AI been 5 to 10 years improved, had there been 5 to 10 years of improvement on graphics and the number of enemies you can have on screen. Even ray tracing, which is obviously not in this game, would have made this game work so much better. And I probably could argue that Control, which was the game that had ray tracing and came out after this, does just dumb random enemy encounters a lot better than this does. But that's not what Resident Evil even is. They're not random enemy encounters. They're well thought out strategic encounters usually. You can certainly devolve into all the zombies chasing you and you just shooting them in the head, but that wasn't the original concern or thought. Or that wasn't how you should originally try to defeat an area. Yep. I'm going to go in circles if I don't wrap up now. That's it for this series. Worth mentioning again, game very consistently crashed when left paused. Never seen that before in my life. But yeah, so take that also to make sure you save quite a lot. It never crashed when I was playing, though. Never once did it crash when I was playing, or even like 5 minutes or an hour after I paused the game. It always only crashed after 8 to 12 hours, and that usually meant I was turning off my TVs / monitors, and so that was probably affecting it somehow also. But it was crashing all of Steam, which is unheard of. That's it for this series. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. On my YouTube channel, there's also a playlist for every single game I've ever covered, and there's a link in the description to those playlists also, if you can't find them. Who knows what YouTube will do to move things around. So you could certainly go and watch my coverage of The Evil Within 1. It is much scarier, much better in every element. I wouldn't even say The Evil Within 1 is an amazingly great horror for action shooter, but it definitely was way better than this. Furthermore, if you want to support me even more than doing all of that, there is a link down below to Patreon, or you can do as one of my fans did for this game. You can friend me on Steam and gift me either a gift card or gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.